Well, this is what I was looking for, the Baldwins Bluff walking trail. Yeah, they say it's quite arduous and can take up to 3 hours. So let's see how we do. Well, the sign says it's steep, so therefore I'm imagining it's more steep than the one I was on last week. But let's see how we go. As you can see, it's quite a marked out trail, very broad, very accessible. Only been walking about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, so it might get less accessible as we go along, but we'll see. The walk at this stage is tracking up between these two, well, I guess it's in a canyon between these two hills, which makes it quite pleasant temperature, although it's not hot anyway. Here we go. This is the turn off for Baldwins Canyon, and oh yeah, it's narrowing now as expected. G'day, I'm Roland Hearn, and this is a walk in the garden. You can see the gradient behind me, I think, but it is getting steep. These loose rocks don't make it easy. Well, I'm over that bit, it's just a gentle incline again. And again. Meat ants, they get excited to see you. Well, that was tough. I got to the meat ant part and turned around and saw what was in front of me and realised I probably just couldn't keep filming or that was going to take too long. So, but I'm up from that part. It says it's 1.3 kilometers to go, which is good. So here's the problem with the way my brain works. The sign at the beginning of the course said make sure you have walking shoes, water, leave yourself 3 hours, beware, it's very steep in places, and it's a level 4 walking track. My brain goes, nah, it'll be all right. Let's give it a go. I've got a plane to catch. At this stage, I'm actually doing quite well. But that walking up section actually was steeper than my brain allowed me to believe. I'm now regretting the fact that I didn't actually bring any water with me, because I said to myself, again, the way my brain works, it's not too hot, and you can handle it. Well, of course I can handle it, but to have a drink right now would be kind of nice. Experiences with my brain. You'd think I'd learn by now, but there's never a challenge in front of me that my brain doesn't go, nah, don't worry about it. Halfway up that hill, I thought maybe I could just video like this was the end of the track and turn around and go back. But my brain says, nah, you'll be right. So I get to almost any situation, unless it is absolutely clear that it's not going to work out, or there isn't somebody with me that is vocalizing the negative against my brain saying, oh, don't worry about it, it'll be all right. I will almost always start the challenge. So, I mean, the positive side of that, the part that's actually I consider valuable and in terms of my own self-image and worth, the idea that I'm always up for challenge. You might remember Young's crossing video where I said people that know me know I'm always up for challenge. That fact I like about myself, I actually do. I'm going to give it a shot. The problem clearly is that I overestimate my capacities, I underestimate the problems, and I find it extremely difficult to give up. Now, when I push myself and I achieve something that I had to tell myself I could do, there's always a rewarding sense of validation, as there will be when I come to the end of this trip. And but here's the thing. I am certain that the reason that I find it so hard to say to give up is because, in my assessment of self, to give up is to admit a sense of worthlessness. I always try and make it clear. I don't necessarily mean worthlessness, but worthlessness, meaning that if I give up, I feel a sense of failure, as we talked a couple of weeks ago. I feel a sense of inadequacy, and that speaks to my being. So that's shame. That's how shame works. And you know, there's lots of times in my life where I've had to work through things and say to myself, you can't do this. And coming to those times, I find it incredibly difficult just to accept reality. And the reason is because, in my mind, I have equated accomplishment, achievement, persistence with worth, and giving up with worthlessness. So as I have journeyed across the last 20, 30 years, a journey that I have tried to reflect in the journey in the garden, the walk in the garden, sorry, I have increasingly learned how to apply those principles of love to my human struggle, to the place of recognizing where I struggle. And I'm able to analyze situations and what's going on a whole lot more clearly. That doesn't make it easy, and I still hate giving up. But I do know what's going on there. And if a situation gets too significant, too severe, then I have to make myself recognize what's actually going on so that I can address love to that situation. So giving up, of course, is equated to my video from a couple of weeks ago on failure. Failure for me is a genuine issue. But giving up, failure, doesn't define my worth. Love defines my worth. And I am loved. And even if you can't find anybody that you can point to and say, that person loves me, that person values me, which I'm sure you can if you look hard enough, we ultimately come to a place where we recognize God loves me, and I am of inestimable value to the creator of the universe. So thanks for being with me this week, and keep walking in your garden. And I'll see you next week. Well, I did it. I guess that must be it. Pile of rocks here, very deliberately placed. I was expecting some kind of a sign, but I can look out across the valley there. It's time for me to turn around and head back. But I did it. Well, this is the track up. I think it's about 1.5 to 2 kilometers from here. Well, what do you know? My brain was right. The walk was done. I think it's taken me just over 1 hour and 20 minutes, so not too bad at all.